Good morning. Can we please rise for the national anthem? Thank you very much. We remain standing as we invite Pastor Rock to bless us in prayer.
And all the other gentlemen standing with you all. It's a pleasure for me to be here this morning. And from the platform where I stand for the last 35 years, I've come to accept some realities that cannot change about people. And that is that if you neglect people when they need you most, they will neglect you when you need them most. I was asked to pray, not to preach. And so I'd like to ask you to bow your heads with me as we talk to God. Almighty God, Father of us all, maker of heaven and earth, we humble ourselves before you today, acknowledging that without you, we are nothing. I come today to pray for this new venture before us, the aspiration of this party to become the nexus in our country, leading our people. We thank you, Father God, for those who had gone ahead, who were resilient and able in what they do, even though it was a challenge. My mind reflects on the Honorable Philip Golson, who, with his tenacity, refused to give up when he stood for the people. I pray, O God, that as our representatives here today examine their moorings, that they will realize that standing for people, while it may be hard, it is worthwhile. I ask, O God, that you will bless and keep them, that you will allow them amicability among things that takes place among human beings will be resolved, and that the new leadership will point the group to a future that will bring about your will and your pleasure. I ask, O God, that you will minister to Panton. I ask, O God, that you will give her strength, wisdom, and fortitude in times when it is difficult, to point her ship to where it ought to go and bring it safely to the shore. I ask, O God, that your presence will not be taken for granted, that we don't pray and ask your guidance and then turn our backs when we get it, but that we will be to listen to your Holy Spirit as he guides us in the way forward. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the men and women who made reality. I pray your blessing over them as we recall you art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Rob. Good morning again. Before we begin today's agenda, please allow me to acknowledge our esteemed party leader and leader of the opposition, our newly elected party leader, first woman party leader of the United Democratic Party, and first woman party leader in the country of Belize. We acknowledge our first deputy from the north, Honorable Ugo Pat, our second deputy leader, Honorable Miguel Guerra from the west, and of course, our forever and forever Lee Mark Chang from Mesopotamia, our leader now in Queen's Square, or Godwin Haler, Honorable Godwin Haler, our lead senator, Honorable Patrick Faber, our newly minted chairlady, first chairlady for the United Woman chairlady for the United Democratic Party, Honorable Sheena Pitts, and of course, by no least the means, Senator Gabriel Zetina. I would like to also take this opportunity to welcome our caretakers. And we have with us here our caretaker from Belize Rural Central, Mr. Edward Brasta. Lake Independence, Mr. Cecil Jenkins. Freetown, we have Angelique Perez. From Stank Creek West, Aldon Tasha. Toledo East, Franklin Crankup Polonial. And we have Alfonso Sanchez from Toledo West. Mr. Marlo Pereira from Orange Walk East. Mr. Andy Yam from Orange Walk Central. My friend Carlos Zetina from Orange Walk North. Tony Herrera, Corozal Southeast. Omar Figueroa, Cayo North. Mr. Dr. Omar Vasquez from Corozal Bay. Cherry May Jones from Colette. Mr. Alpheus Gillett from Belize Rural North. Who's behind you there? Mr. Mr. Martin Rivera, Corozal Southwest. Somebody else is there, I believe. Mr. Alobi Young Pickstock. Somebody else. And of course, we would like to give tribute to our deputy chair from the South, newly elected member of our executive. I would also like to welcome all our stalwart supporters that are here. We see the Albert Care team. I see Belize Rural Central. I see Lake Independence. I see Mr. Eddie Webster, the former clerk of the National Assembly. Am I missing anybody? Mr. Roosevelt Blades. We acknowledge your presence here. Of course, Ms. Hope Panton, our forever partner on the campaign trail. Of course, we give great thanks to Pastor Rock again for being here. Welcome, and we also welcome our media partners, Channel 7, CREM, Channel 5. We're streaming on Hot Off the Press, Wave, and Guardian. Who else is here with us? We acknowledge you.
Breaking Belize News.
Breaking Belize News. Thank you, Mr. Humes. We welcome all of you, and we are here to bring to you some of the salient issues. We see our caretaker from Orange Walk South, German Tillit. We're here to bring you some of the salient issues that are affecting us and to try to hold the PUP government to account. But without further ado, I'll invite our, again, esteemed leader of the opposition and our leader of the United Democratic Party, Honorable Tracy Tega Panton.
Thank you to our Secretary General Designate, Ms. Beverly Williams, who has agreed so graciously to be our MC this morning. I woke up this morning with this song in my heart. And the song says, who say Belize not got no culture? Culture. I want to begin today's press conference by first acknowledging my esteemed colleagues at the head table, our representatives, caretakers, and standard bearers from our Central Caucus, our Western Caucus, our Southern Caucus, and our Northern Caucus. Of course, I especially recognize our new vice chairman, who is not sitting at the head table, but nonetheless is doing very Herculean work for us in the party in terms of touching the base of the UDP. But I woke up this morning with that song in my heart because today UNESCO recognized our Creole culture and specifically our Bram and Sambai traditions as a cultural heritage, intangible designation. This historic recognition affirms the resilience, the richness, and the global significance of Belize's Creole heritage. It should be a proud nation for Belize, but particularly a proud moment for Belize Rural Central, and in particular, the Gales Point community. These vibrant cultural expressions are rooted in our communities, in our memory, and most importantly, in our identity, cultural traditions. This morning, the United Democratic Party, to our sister, Myrna Manzanares. And Myrna's mom, it is and advocating for this tradition. And etched into the cultural record of our humanity. The United Democratic Party has this opportunity to salute all those who have been involved in the National Institute of Culture and History, the UNESCO Foundation. Again, I say, Bravo, Belize. And may the soul of Myrna Manzanares and her mother continue to rest in perfect peace. An important step in the rebirth of the United Democratic Party. Our mission is clear: to restore unity, strengthen our democracy, preserve our integrity, and rebuild a modern, disciplined, people-centered political organization that is ready to lead Belize. While there are a plethora of serious national issues affecting our nation, I will leave that heavy lifting to my colleagues at the table. This morning, I wish to share with all of you, all who are tuned in, a few key provisions that have been outlined in our Reform Agenda White Paper. I take this opportunity to also extend a national invitation to all Belizeans who want to commit and who want to contribute to our country's renewal. Reform and participation, my friends, they go hand in hand. Reform demands participation, and participation strengthens reform. The future of Belize, and indeed the future of the United Democratic Party, depends on all of us working together with purpose and shared commitment. It is no secret that the present administration is unraveling and unraveling at a neck-breaking pace. Today, we must begin by acknowledging that reform within the United Democratic Party is. In recent years, UDP has confronted internal challenges. Conflicting interpretations of the constitutional provisions of our party, committees without standardized operating rules, public disagreements that severely undermine our very credibility, a democratic deficit where members did not always feel that their voices mattered. These issues, of course, did not appear overnight. All of us have a responsibility to fix them now. The reform agenda is not a reaction to the past. It is a blueprint for the future. It is about restoring order, restoring confidence, providing for inclusion, and safeguarding our democracy. Our reform agenda is built on several pillars that modernize and will seek to solidify our institution. The first pillar, restoring our democratic integrity. You see, there are some of us who believe that integrity doesn't have any currency. our integrity doesn't have any value. But I will tell you that the future of the UDP will be built on the currency and value of our collective integrity. There will be clear and consistently applied rules. There will be advance notices of meetings and motions that allow for fair play in decision making and accurate record keeping for institutional memory, something party cannot operate on improvisation. A modern party systems. Pillar number 2, strengthening our party's organs. Committees must function both with discipline and purpose, and I can't underscore enough the importance of a disciplined approach to the rebuilding of the UDP. Under our reform plan, every committee will have a clear mandate, defined responsibilities, reporting obligations, and access to training and support. We are now in the process of reappointing our Central Executive Committee, and the first order of business in the new year is to convene the first meeting of our National Party Council, the highest decision-making body of the party outside of our national convention. We will also be convening the Constitutional Reform Committee. I have asked, and he has graciously accepted, the Honorable Patrick Faber to serve as the lead on this important initiative that will include legal and technical expertise as well as representation from our 4 regional caucuses. Pillar number 3, embracing the digital and hybrid governance. We want to ensure that participation in the party's affairs is made accessible no matter where you live. We will develop clear protocols for virtual meetings, a secure online voting mechanism, digital archiving, and technological support for all 31 constituencies. This, in my view, is essential for fairness, transparency, and meaningful engagement. Pillar number 4, reforming the standard bearer process. Constituencies, I want you to hear me. Constituencies must choose their own candidates. The national leadership's role is enforcement, not interference. We will also provide candidate development programs to strengthen constituency leaders nationwide. Number 5, constitutional modernization. I mentioned that earlier. We got a clear mandate at our recent national convention to move post-haste in our constitutional reform agenda. And so we will update and clarify the powers and responsibilities of our party organs, establish a permanent constitutional review committee. I'm sure that Dr. Omar would like to hear this one. We will expand our delegate participation and increase policy engagement from our base. And six, public engagement. We would be nothing without the people who continue to support the United Democratic Party in its best days, but also in its most difficult days. We will engage with the unions and our civil society actors, the churches. Pastor Rock, I'll be calling on you, and of course, the business community. An investment in the UDP is an investment in safeguarding Belize's democracy. We now have a system of government that is now under siege, and one that we must protect, one that we have traditionally taken great pride in, where democracy prevails. And how will we do this? Our implementation strategy for reform will have 3 phases. Stabilization, making sure that our headquarters is inviting and functional and open for business. Phase 2 will deal with the structural development of the party and the party's organs. For the press and for all stalwarts and supporters of this party, quarterly progress reports will ensure transparency and accountability in our implementation efforts. Belizeans are watching to see whether the UDP can present a united, credible, alternative government. I say to you today, we say to you today, we will meet that expectation. We will do so with accountability, with professionalism, with discipline, and a clear vision for Belize. This reform agenda is not only about our internal renewal, it is about preparing the United Democratic Party to serve Belize responsibly and confidently. An investment of your time, your skill sets, and your resources is the pathway to a more engaged citizenry and a more productive country. We have said before, and we are saying again, reform does not happen in isolation. A political party is only as strong as the people who help to build it. I reiterate, the United Democratic Party is standing before you, and we extend a national invitation to all Belizeans who want to contribute to the rebuilding of our democracy. We encourage our supporters and well-wishers to participate in several ways, and I'll name just a few. Share your skills in education, youth engagement, women empowerment, community development, technology, organization, communications, and the like. Join your constituency committees. And I say that because some are of the view that the executive committees is where it stops, the delegates as we commonly refer to them. And I will encourage all my colleagues to ensure that you have your executive leadership, just as the party has its executive leadership, but you have to have a wider constituency committee that will help us to get the job done. Volunteer on national teams that we will be assembling to focus on governance reform, election readiness, and policy development. Submit your ideas and proposals that will help shape the UDP's national agenda. And I beg you, participate. Participate, participate, participate in local meetings, in consultations, and national forums. We will be establishing a simple registration process to match volunteers to meet meaningful roles. Constituencies will host small sessions to explain opportunities, and everyone who signs up will receive clear responsibilities and regular updates. When people give of their time, we must be sure that we give them purpose. Belize deserves a political party grounded in integrity, unity, and service. We ask Belizeans who share this commitment to step forward. Together, we can offer Belize a hopeful path forward. Together, we will build a UDP ready to govern in 2030. I thank you.
Thank you, Party Leader, for that comprehensive outlook as we continue to all the machine on the road to the Grand Reset. I now call on our Deputy Party Leader, Honorable Ugo Pat, to share with us the realities within the agro-productive sector.
Thank you, Madam Mistress of Ceremony, and I want to record the members of the head table, to our colleagues, our candidates, to our viewers, to our listeners, industry. I could first recall us there when we made mention that fields were not growing at the pace that they ought to have been. We noticed that the production itself was at a steep decline, and we noticed as well that the intervention of the authorities was not readily available to ensure that farmers took the adequate steps in one, preparing themselves for the impact of this pest, and secondly, in preparing our farmers to take necessary steps to ensure that we get educated and that we take the necessary husbandry practices to ensure that we remain optimally in terms of production. This year, we have seen that the fungus has extended to the district of Orange Walk. And while it was very new to us, it was very new to the industry. For our neighbors, particularly on the Mexican side, we had very, very clear indications from them that this was a pest, this was a disease that was very aggressive, and it was one that was affecting significantly the production of sugarcane. What we have seen is what we feared: the drastic decrease in the production of sugarcane, but more importantly, the drastic decrease in the quality of sugarcane that we're producing. The estimate for the sugarcane crop of 2024 and 2025 was at little over 1 million tons of cane. The final delivery for the 2024-2025 crop was slightly over 869,000. It represented a 175,000 ton decrease in the production of sugarcane. And we're speaking about the same average, we're speaking about the same acreage, and we're speaking about the same investments made across the cane fields in the two northern districts. What is important to note is that while the production of sugarcane has had a steep decline, one major factor that is affecting the farmers is the final price of cane. The final price for the sugarcane crop of 2024 and 2025 was at $65.14 per ton cane. I want you guys and I want the public to understand that the farmers at this point in time are dealing with a very serious issue. The cost of production is at a point in time that farmers cannot sustain when you compare the cost of production to what the farmers are getting. Husbandry practices include fertilization, include pesticide control. We now have to include fungicide control, and we also have to include the weed control. It is something that when you add it up, it clearly indicates that there is a deficit in the pockets of farmers. Financing is available, and I want to admit that the government is putting some finances through the different entities. But what makes it difficult at this point in time for farmers to access funding is that the maths is not there, the economics is not there. The financing for the farmers is difficult whenever they have to cope with exorbitant costs of production, and what is coming in, the revenues generated is not sufficient to sustain. I want to as well recognize the government for one intervention that was made, and this was in the late cycle of the sugarcane production, in that they provided some financing for the control of the fusarium. While many would say that the control was indeed necessary, there is a large population of the farmers that did not feel that the impact of this particular intervention was any more beneficial. We have to understand that whenever we have a new pest coming into the country, whenever the farmers are experiencing a new kind of disease in a particular industry, you have to get some sort of information as to how exactly the fungus operates. And experts will tell you, and people on the ground will tell you, that this fungus operates very, very aggressively from the time that farmers harvest. And so when we look at what was done by the government, it merely was, as many people say, it was just a benefit to the contractors who were actually getting the contracts to spread these fungicides rather than the actual value for money. And this is what we're seeing. What we want to ask from this administration going into the 2025-2026 crop, we're looking at a very, very dire situation. The first estimate of, as we speak, and this is what has been publicized by the industry stakeholders, we're looking at a price of roughly 43, 44, if you want to put it at best, $52, $53 per ton cane. This is something that is very conservative, as is published by BSI, but when you look at what the markers have been set from last year to now, we can safely indicate that the final price of sugarcane will be around 65, probably at best 70. The scenario will be just the same as last year. And so what we're asking from this administration is to actually start to work with the farmers from now. Farming, and this is not only for sugarcane, farming across the scope is very, very complicated. It requires timing, it requires a coordinated set of activities, but more importantly, it requires interventions at very, very timely efforts within the cycle of the sugarcane. What we're asking from this administration, we now have a sugarcane crop that will start late, and this is not because the farmers or the millers are not ready, but simply because production has been affected by the fusarium fungus. And secondly, we're asking the administration to make sure that whatever monies are made available that these are made available at the time that the sugarcane requires the investment. We do not want at this point in time to have so many millions invested and the benefit actually is felt by the contractors instead of the farmers. And so at this point in time, my plea and the plea of the United Democratic Party is for the government to take a comprehensive approach to this situation that the farmers are facing. A piecemeal approach will not benefit anybody, but it requires for the government to have a serious look at what is going on at this particular industry. And so I want to bring this ahead of time. The farmers are facing a very delicate situation. The cost of production is way out of control. We're looking at the high cost of fuel. We're looking at the high cost of herbicides. We're looking at the high cost of pesticides. We're looking at the high cost of fertilizers. And we're looking at the production increases at every single level. When you add when you add everything on, and when you consider climate change, it just makes the situation for the cane farmers dire. And so we're asking on this administration for this particular crop to have a very serious and a very timely intervention whenever it comes to the sugar industry. And so this actually will bring to end my presentation. At this point in time, I want to thank each and everybody for being here, particularly those at the head table, our colleagues, and more importantly, to the general public who have been here with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Pat. Now we can appreciate what the Belizean cane farmers are going through in the north. We now turn to the rather suspicious merger between BTL, Smart, and Nick.
Good morning. It's great to be here today. They think they can play games with our money in the dark, behind closed doors, with secret deals. Well, we pay attention. Next Gen and Centaur. They tell Next Gen and Centaur. They tell us it is a good deal for Belize, away from our company, BTL. They fed the competition. They crippled our company, and now they have the nerve to say BTL must buy back the very competitor they helped to. BTL was making 30 plus million a year. Take a while and look at the results. Does this sound like a healthy company that is making money after they crippled us? Or does it sound like a company that was desperately, deliberately weakened, and now, after running it into the ground, they want BTL to take on over 100 million plus in new debt to buy the competition? Right, we talk about nine digits, they're not 7 digits, they're not 8 digits, we talk about 9 digits. 9 digits. So let's ask ourselves a simple question. Who really benefits from this deal? Is it you? Is it your family? Or is it the country? No, nada. The ones who benefit are the family owners of Smart and other companies acquired it in this buyback. They get cashed out risk-free with a massive PD. They will be set not for a lifetime, but generations to their family. Not only my life I will benefit if that's the case, but for my kids, grandkids, They will all benefit because we talk about 9 digits number. We don't talk about 7 or 8 digits number. We talk about 9 digits. We, the people of Belize, will be saddled with this debt. Our children, our grandchildren will inherit this liability. Make no mistake, this deal is a future tax on every single one of us. It will show up as higher phone bills. It will show up as fewer dividends for government, for schools and hospitals. It will show up as a weaker Belize for our children. They are shifting the risk from private hands onto our public shoulders and calling it competition. I call it sabotage and betrayal. They sabotage the company. They sabotage BTL. If this deal was about efficiency or cost savings, then I have some simple questions. Where is the cost-benefit analysis? Where is the independent evaluation? Where is the proof that it will help majority of Belizeans' family? There is no proof. There are no answers. There is only secrecy and a massive bill waiting for our grandkids to pay till death. We must ask these questions. Why was BTL undermined in the first place? Why must Belize pay hundreds of millions to correct a deliberate policy failure? This deal not have to go through. This deal is not in the public interest, and this is not going to happen under our watch. We demand transparency. We demand accountability. We demand that our leaders, the one that the Belizean people elect, to work for us, the people of Belize, and not for a specific few. Until we get an independent evaluation, until we see the public interest report, until there is absolute proof that this smart acquisition will benefit the nation of Belize and its people, the people of Belize must stand together and say, no, this one, I'm body. I will close off with this. They don't played for their money. They played for we money. Thank you.
Insightful presentation. Not get any worse. We know due diligence.
And position himself in the major port in Dangriga, dubbed the Dangriga Deep Water Port Project. Belizeans, ask yourselves this. Why would any responsible government knowingly engage with an individual who is being sought by the Mexican authorities? Why would a government, being aware of the investigation, the allegations, the arrest warrant, still proceed to welcome this man in our ecosystem? The answer is simple. The government is so hungry for new foreign investment that no due diligence is being done. Nothing turned up from the FIU. Nothing turned up from Special Branch. Nothing suspicious turned up from anywhere. And that's because this government does not care who you are. They only care how tall your pocket is. To top it off, we now have our PM last year taking pictures with no other than Mr. Raul Roca Cantu. This is a national embarrassment. Ladies and gentlemen, this government reminds me a lot of the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, a movie of choice, where once you possess the golden ticket, that is in this case, the financial capital to invest in Belize, nothing else matters. Then all Belizeans are left singing, Oompa Loompa Doompity Doo. It's a tragic tale. The government needs to come clean on Mr. Raul Rocha Cantu's involvement in the Belize Dangriga Deepwater Port. And it's not like we're calling out the PM and his government on only one critical situation of misgovernance. I'm sure you will all remember the Corozal Free Zone. How worse that has gotten under this PUP government. Cartels and contrabands are now the mainstay in the free zone. The situation is so serious that if continued, Belize can be blacklisted for money laundering. Long gone are the days when the UDP received a proposal from the World Bank to modernize the free zone with zoning areas, especially for wholesale, retail, technology. That never saw the light of day under the PUP government. But I will speak it into existence when the UDP returns to government. Under the leadership of Honorable Tracy Panton, we will confront these issues publicly. We will take visible corrective measures to assure Belizeans and the entire world that Belize is not becoming a place for illicit financial investments. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Halak. Imagine Rocha Cantu can set up shop in our little Belize. But we move on to the bread and butter issues, and I ask Honorable Miguel Guerra to give us some insights.
Thank you very much. First of all, good morning to our party leader, executive of this great United Democratic Party, the media, to everyone. Ports cost, rising transportation and shipping fees, a slow wage growth that hasn't kept up with inflation. The result is simple. People are paying more, but earning the same. They're choosing between buying healthier food or cheaper food. Young people say saving for homes feel important to move forward. Lowering food and essential import costs. Smarter price, not against the people. The cost of living should not defeat us. Together, with honest dialogue and real solutions, we can build a Belize where working families can breathe again. Now, with your permission, I would like to give some words in Spanish for my constituency. Para mi gente de la división de Calle Oeste, un saludo. Creo que como todos saben, vengo de la división donde se encuentra la gente más linda. Un saludo especial de parte de su representante. Hoy me encuentro en una posición donde estoy actuando como líder, segundo vicelíder de este gran partido Unido Demócrata. Quiero que sepan que tengo un compromiso serio con la y este liderazgo para llevar a cabo y ejecutar una misión. No va a ser fácil, pero la vamos a cumplir con la ayuda de todos ustedes. Les pido paciencia, porque muy pronto vamos a trabajar duro para unir este partido y trabajar por un país severísimo. Sin más más que decir. Quiero darle las gracias.
Thank you, Honorable Miguel.
This convention, for which I am grateful, which tell the nonsense and the do all along, you can't expel Faber, nor any of that other set of people that were expelled along with me. But let bygones be bygones. We're happy to be in our home here at the foothills of the Bell China Bridge. I know I've been asked to speak on a topic, but let me take some liberty to pay special tribute, as our party leader did, to a lady who is a rock, or was a rock in the community, but her legacy lives on, and that is Myrna Manzanares. My friend Roosevelt Blades, the former Secretary General of UNESCO, can tell you that getting a site inscribed, and this one is an intangible because it has to do with culture. It's an intangible, but getting a site inscribed by UNESCO is no easy task, and it speaks to the word of Myrna, her mother, Miss Abraham, and all the others. There are others who have worked tirelessly. And if you think getting inscribed is hard, right, Mr. Blades? Yes, sir. Try getting your inscription taken away and you have to go reinstate it, like what happened to us with the Barrier Reef. I say this, and I salute Myrna Manzanares in this way today, because you see the same one where Kerry name and took her legacy to wherever the UNESCO meeting was to get this thing inscribed. The People's United Party had no love for Myrna Manzanares. You see, in this country, we have a tendency to try to link people and to try to kill. Well, not all the way. It seems the PUP has a stronger legacy of it. And I tell this story for the benefit of young Belizeans who are unaware of the type of government that the People's United Party is. So, Myrna may live the Coral Grove, and me one expense with the house he dropped behind, and Social Security was looking to take away her home. Imagine Myrna Manzanares, a cultural icon, somebody who gave of herself selflessly. If you knew Myrna, she'd have hold a workshop for teach her about storytelling, for teach her how to beat the sambai, for teach her how to dance, how to do whatever, in the country, outside the country, wherever. I remember when I was a student doing my bachelor's degree at Valdosta State, Myrna's daughter was there, and Myrna come visit, and Myrna gone with me, gonna do my service project, which I loved. I got an easy ride. Went to the schools to do our community service project, teaching American children how to tell stories in Creole, the art of storytelling. That was Myrna Manzanares. And through the National Institute of Culture, which I was the minister of at the time, with responsibility for that, we said we can't allow the Social Security Board to put Myrna out of the house and make her homeless. And so what we did was to say Myrna's house would become a museum for the Creole culture. Left Myrna make it live in the house till he dead, and make her home later on the property of the National Institute of Culture, and turn it into a Creole museum, because we know how much endangered the Creole culture is. And in fact, all cultural promotions in this country need more such support. And you know what the PUPs did? They get in and they say, oh, I remember Yemon Courtney stand up in the Senate and gave us hell. Like it was some new disclosure. Oh, we did do this to Myrna Manzanares because she's a UDP, because you know Myrna may run away for city council a number of times. In fact, the successes that we had with Darrell Bradley and Mayor Zenaida Moore and all of that was built on the backs of people like Myrna putting their names up over and over and over for the UDP. So there was no doubt that she was a UDP, but she was also a very, very patriotic person. And so today, as the party leader bigged her up in her remarks, I join her and I say it's vindication. It's vindication for the fact that Myrna was selfless. It's vindication for the fact that she loved this country. She loved the Creole culture, especially. She loved Gales Point, Manatee, Mr. Brasta. You can't find somebody who love it more than she when she was alive. Maybe somebody take the cake now. And so I salute her today. And I salute the entire Creole Council and anybody else who was involved with that inscription. I know that that is a big deal. If you allow me one more, Liberty Party leader. 9 years ago today, on December 9th, I was acting Prime Minister. And I was fortunate. I had the good luck and the good honor of signing Belize into the UNCAC agreement 9 years ago, December 9, 2016. And it is sad that the People's United Party has not made much. I saw in the review, and the media will help us along, I saw that in 2023 they tried to do something again, they invited people in. But I will tell you now, if you are waiting for the PUP to get rid of corruption, it ain't gonna happen. And it is an impetus, my friends. It is an impetus for the people of this country. It is an impetus for the business community. It is an impetus for the church community. It is an impetus for the non-governmental community to support the work of the United Democratic Party in rebuilding itself, because it is through these checks and balances that the corruption by the PUP will be minimized. Look at how colleagues outlined this morning some of the corruption that is happening. Look at how they give credit to the media, in particular Channel 7, for outing what many see as acts of corruption, acts against this country by the government. We must all work together, but the opposition, don't fool yourself, Mr. Jules Vasquez, the opposition plays that primary role, and the Belizean people are expecting that now more than ever under the leadership of the Honorable Tracy Hunter. But make I get down to when they ask me if we talk about. Because what is happening in this country is really, really sad. And I have an issue, make I begin with this issue. The topic that they asked me to talk about, all the borrowing, by the way. And it is sad. In the 5 years of the PUP, they celebrated 5 years in November, in case you don't miss it. This is their second term, but they completed 5 years, November 2020 to November 2025, 5 calendar years. And in that time, the People's United Party has borrowed close to $600 million. For those who like it, like the former Prime Minister, Said Musa, that is 0.6 billion with a B. And the point of this is that that money is now gone. That money is now gone. But the stench that remains from borrowing all that money remains for our children. And as one of our speakers said this morning, for our children's children and even our children's children to pay, because that is how the People's United Party has operated. The last time we had a press conference, when we were not so fortunate to be in our own headquarters here at Bell China, we were talking about the BEL buyback and the buyout of Fortis Belize, where loans were made in the name of this country, local domestic borrowing. And I'll call you out, Mr. Vasquez, on Channel 7, because in the story that you ran with me, you claim that I was wrong in my facts because I said that the House of Representatives and the Senate approved $330 million. And on a fact check Faber. So I'm not 330 million, Faber wrong. That it was 256 million, the cost of paying Fortis and the cost of buying back the BEL shares. And I pointed out to you, but you don't pick me up, you don't cry me. They're like, you don't feel that $76 million important? And no mistake Faber make. The fact of the matter is the Prime Minister said it was the whole deal would cost us 3.9% or 3.7% of GDP. Now the last time I checked with them, say, yet if you drive around this country right now, every one of the climate resilient road when they claim them bill broke up. Somebody the hustle, somebody the scurve. Because they only pay the contractors a fraction of what they should get, so they put a fraction of the quality of the materials in the projects. They name things for the fisherman, they name things for the cane farmer, the agro sector, the small businesses, medium enterprise, everything they name, they borrow in everybody's name. And none of these sectors are producing and turning out the way they ought to be turned out. $76 million. That's not play money. Big money. Who are the liars? That's not play money. Big money. Who are the liars now with dealer? But I don't want to start to call name. I left that for the Senator Agali immunity, you know. Not that I'm not right, but you fair play. Reason for this, but the people don't feel that, you know. They're like, they borrow the money. I don't know what they do with it because you know, in an education name, the people that tell you out there the quality of education, and a teacher, they tell you, the day. So, don't anymore. We are already way behind, but I am confident that with the Honorable Pantan and her leadership team, that things will and can turn around in very short order. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Faber. Indeed, the shoestrings are tight. Party Leader, if you allow me, for those of you who want to be in Gales Point on the 26th, Sambai and Michule. We now turn to Honorable Zetina to hear just how much tourism can save the economy from sinking.
Good morning, colleagues, the head table. Once again, I want to congratulate the Honorable United Democratic Party. And from far, from all west, south, myself from before I get started though, I want to also thank the Belizean people for tuning in. It's some serious matters that we're talking about and trying to hold this government to account, and that we shall do. The Prime Minister came to the National Assembly when the inauguration happened, and he boasted about the tourism numbers then. He talked about a 19% increase, record arrivals, he said, foreign exchange inflows. But what he didn't talk about is the truth that every Belizean is feeling every single day. He didn't talk about the tour guides who can't pay rent, but yet he boasted about the tourism sector doing great numbers. He didn't talk about the hotel workers who still earn bare minimum to live day by day. He didn't talk about those who suffer under the high cost of living, but yet they are the frontline workers in the tourism sector. Let me be clear. He didn't talk about the communities drowning in
traffic, population, failing infrastructure, even as the government collects more revenue from the tourism sector and from the tourists. This government, though, is celebrating success, while the Belizean feel none of it. None of it. The tourism sector is the last homegrown industry we have left. And if that is to slip out of the hands of the Belizean people, then God be with us. Let me tell you, foreign developers, they get land, lots of it, acres and acres. Foreign companies get big incentives. Politically connected elites, they get all the contracts. But the frontline workers in the tourism sector, what do they get? The Belizean small tour operator, what does he or she get? The Belizean family who owns their small tour company, fishing company, trying to survive in San Pedro and Kikaker, all they get is the crumbs, and that is if they get anything at all. But yet, the tourism sector has reached great numbers. Who is benefiting? That is correct. Let's talk about what those on the ground are feeling, because this in the peak season. You, the single mother who works in these hotels, despite us being in the peak tourism season, tourism season, these are just some of the stories. There's many, many more out there. All those who depend on the ecosystem, who in turn, same marine life is under great threat. When the PM said tourism will slow down this year, well, man, if this is the peak season and we not feeling it in our, but credit to the Prime Minister, he did say the tourism, the level of incompetence of and in turn continues to ignore the Belizean people. And I say enough is enough, you know. If they do the job, they need to get out of the way. It belongs to the people, not to a privileged few. So that all, and I say all, Belizeans benefit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gabriel Zetina. And while the UDP is rebuilding, thereafter, if there are any more, we'll give them a chance to ask one additional question. So we invite you all.
One, two. All right, good morning, everybody. Paul Lopez. We're back in the headquarters. I think it's been long in coming, so congrats on that. In terms of the appeal you made, were you able to, have you all come up with an estimate? Were you able to, have you all come up with an estimate as to what it would,
What you need in terms of
Congress that is scheduled for December 21st. I believe that is being led by Mr. Espat and several others on the same matter. All right. And then finally, how closely have you all been following?
No, I don't want to be facetious, Paul. I think no politician in this country know for sure that the Governor General of Belize has signed off. I had fallen off a horse. Or he sat on carrots, I don't know which one. Mr. Mai needs medical attention.
Yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Bruce Vasquez from 77. Real quick, first of all, if you could say, I don't in your opening, but I didn't hear you speak about the what was tabled at the National Convention, but rejected, which was to expand the pool of all the delegates of the party and awarded per 100 votes. Okay, but would you speak about if you, because if I saw it right at the convention, I don't think you all supported it, your group, but maybe I was seeing wrong. But where do you personally stand with it? You believe the pool of delegates should be expanded?
Absolutely.
Yes.
In short answer, absolutely.
Yes.
I have said that the way forward for the United Democratic Party is to ensure that we have a more inclusive party. We can't have 520 delegates voting on behalf of the 80,000 Belizeans that have supported this party in successive elections. There is a need for wider representation and participation by
I know that in the past, business put into a personal account of a former member of the executive, status of arrears, etc.
As I said, and we will rise from, we will do what is necessary to put this party back in a solid foundation. Because there is no shame in us working together to rebuild the city, to do the things that we say we're going to do in our reform agenda.
And then you have to find 67. You have to find 67 candidates nationally. Will the UDP?
That's part of.
Will the UDP?
That's part of the rule. Every person that is sitting on the right. Rebuilding in your various constituencies. Rebuilding in your various constituencies. We have the manpower. We have the will. We have the will. We have the discipline. We will have the resources, and we intend to send a clear message to John Desenio and his administration.
As I know on the Secretary as a sub-question, what would you aim for? I know I said something that we might be 7 of 7 because that's not realistic. But right now you all hold 4 of the 67 seats and 1 municipality. What would you hope for? Would you hope to hold 4 municipalities by?
I think the Secretary General mentioned once we got to the question and answer period that following this press conference, we will have the first meeting of our agenda, getting our house in order, our preparedness and readiness for the municipal And we will work to gain as many seats as we can in the next municipal election.
Go ahead. Next.
All right. Your news breaking with these news. It's nice to be back in the party headquarters and good to be among all of you. Party leader, let me ask you first about the one of the things you mentioned in the opening, the candidate development, your proposal to institute a program for candidate development. Can you expand on that a little bit in terms of you already have your 31 standard bearers who hopefully will be nominated down the road, and then also, as you mentioned, the municipal elections. What is that intended to accomplish in terms of preparation and advancing the work of the party? Just a second. The party answer.
I would like to thank you for that question, Mr. Humes. It's looking, first of all,
Yes. Technology. Go ahead.
I first want to thank you for that very pointed question. We're looking certainly at doing assessment of where we may have gaps in skill sets. We will be providing a leadership, mentorship program, and in fact in January, and to be fair, my colleagues will hear about this at lunch, but we have secured the support of the International Leadership Institute of Washington, who will be in the base from the 16th to the 18th of January to provide some training and discussions with all 31 of our leaders as to where we'll do that SWOT analysis, right? Our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And coming up with meaningful solutions together as a team, because there's no I in team, to ensure that we are ready for this rodeo, because this is not our first rodeo, as you know.
All right, and then secondly, addressing the matter of the internal backbiting and writing. Yes, it's supposed to be in the past. It's supposed to be in the past, but do you have concerns about these leaks of internal chats and still, there's still going to be hard feelings, I imagine, but how do you address that moving forward?
They are not done.
To my friends on the left, is there any hard feelings in this room?
No.
There's no magic wand. The work of rebuilding is not going to be easy work. It won't happen overnight, but we are committed to doing what needs to be done to ensure that the credibility of the party is restored, that internal matters for the party remain internal matters. We are also committed to being accountable and transparent by having these press conferences at least once every quarter so we can update our party faithful and media partners, civil society partners and the like of where we are in the process of rebuilding.
All right, and then very finally from me, there are quite a lot of national issues to be dealt with. You could be here all day with that, but let me ask you about, is there any update with regard to the redistricting process? I know the party has elected its 31 standard bearers, but that number could shift and change as a result of the boundaries being